Hi everyone and welcome to another episode of Mariya Meets. Today I'm in London's West End to meet someone who I've admired for years. Someone who's become one of the most recognizable voices in European gaming. Of course, I'm talking about the executive chairman of the Hippodrome Casino, Simon Thomas. While we walk through his casino, we're going to talk about his career before the Hippodrome, transforming the Hippodrome into one of the most iconic entertainment venues in Europe, why he has become such a fierce champion, not just for his business, but the West End as a whole. We're going to talk about the challenges he's met along the way and the lessons learned. Trust me, you do not want to miss this one. Let's go meet Simon Thomas. Hello.
Mariya.
Hello.
Long time no see.
I know. Thank you so much for meeting me. How are you?
I am sensational. Yourself?
Amazing. It's a sunny day in London. I'm in the West End, one of my favorite
A lot
places.
to like, isn't
Yes. So while we walk to the Hippodrome, I want to take you back to before the Hippodrome. What did Simon do before the Hippodrome? I actually don't know that story, and I didn't look it up because I want to hear it from you.
It's actually, it's fascinating in a way. And taking on the Hippodrome, it's a beast.
Yeah.
It was an animal. And in a funny way, everything that I did beforehand almost prepared me for that moment. So schooling, I'm lucky I had a very good education. I read electronic engineering at university. My father had a bingo hall business, which he was expecting me to come into. But in 1987, as I left university, he sold it. So all of a sudden, I was kind of free. He did keep a bingo hall for me to take over, which, like any obnoxious 21-year-old, I said, thank you, but no. I want to go and learn how to work. I want to work in somebody else's business. And I managed to get myself a job in the city. I was an analyst at a bank called Singer and Friedlander. And for me, there was a number of things there. One, I learned how to work. I learned how the discipline of being in an office early and late and doing what was necessary. But I also, being an analyst, was able to go into other people's companies and ask them why they did what they did. And so I learned a lot about, I had all the city training, the finance, the balance sheet, and all that sort of stuff. But I also had a good exposure to business and understanding. And I'm particularly interested in family businesses because they can go horribly wrong. Businesses where people get given a job because they need one, and people are unaccountable and all responsibility lines are blurred because it's a family type thing. On the positive, family businesses can be brilliant because you've got total ownership, you've got commitment from people, and you live and breathe it 24 hours a day. So I had a really interesting couple of years learning about business, learning about working, and came back to the firm in 1989 because the bingo laws were changing and there was an opportunity all of a sudden. So bingo and casino were exactly the same legislation from the 1968 Gambling Act. And it was quite controlled. It was no advertising, no promoting, no live entertainment, no alcohol on the gaming floor. There was a cooling off period. You had to join and it was 24 hours before you could actually go and gamble. And bingo and casino were the same.
What we know now.
Nothing like that. But bingo in about 1990 was deregulated and allowed to modernize to much more mass market entertainment. So the bingo hall I took over in Loughborough in 1989 was a converted Odeon cinema. 300 seats, 200 old ladies playing housey for a fiver in the afternoon. It was very traditional, small bar, small diner. And the law changed and 1991 opened a much bigger bingo hall in Northampton. And 1996 opened what is still to this day the largest bingo hall in the country in Cricklewood. So first bingo hall, 300 seats, small bar, small restaurant. Cricklewood, 2,700 seats, 3 bars, 2 restaurants, 2 cabaret stages, wedding license, cinema license, 265 slot machines, 16,000 customers a week. It was off the chart for bingo compared to anything else. And it was a great business. And part of it was I'm coming at it without the baggage of knowing how a bingo hall had always worked. So I was coming at it fresh. And that was great. 1999 to 2001, I was Trade Association president for BACTA. And that really came into its own because the 2005 Gambling Act started in 2001. So I was in exactly the right place to know what was coming down the line. And what was coming down the line was bad for bingo. Mm-hmm. Bingo had gone too far, so we're going to re-regulate it. But casino was about to get all the deregulation that I'd learned how to use in bingo, sort of making it much more mainstream, mass market, entertainment focused. And at the same time, the smoking ban was happening.
Yeah.
2006 smoking ban. I had contemporaries through my sort of being president of the Trade Association in all the other countries. So I tracked what happened with the smoking bans in the other countries. And in particular, Australia, which I thought was similar Anglo-Saxon, similar sort of type of people. They had an expectation, as the UK did, that a third of people smoke. Their business may be affected by a third. They'll get used to it. It'll come back. And what happened in Australia was business dropped by 50% and stayed there. And the reason the post-analysis they did was, say I'm a smoker and you're not, I'm having a good natter. And I say, I'm going for a cigarette, you will go, I will go with you. So you don't just lose the smoker, you lose the smoker and their mate.
Yeah.
And the smoking addiction is much stronger than anything else. So people got used to standing outside smoking. And with bingo being very much a sessional business where you get most of your money at the start and end of the interval, they're the value games. My view was it was going to hit the market a lot harder than the market was expecting.
Yeah.
So between bad news for bingo in the gambling review and the smoking ban, I didn't like the future for bingo, sold it in 2006, and had already started doing the Hippodrome because the kind of maybe naive, but the viewpoint was, I know how to do mass market entertainment. I don't know how to do casino. I buy in that casino expertise. The locality, the position, location of the Hippodrome was
There's no better location.
phenomenal.
Yeah.
And
who saw the building first, you or your dad?
No, it's
Who saw the building?
Dad would claim that he was there in the 60s and 70s in Talk of the Town, and one day he said, I want to own this. But you never quite knew with him. But you actually introduced it by one of the then tenants in the building, a guy called Mike Pemberton, who had the Crystal Rooms arcade and had tracked the building, had seen it had become, lost its license. And he came to us and said, look, I can't do this on my own. I'd like to turn it into a casino. What do you think? And it like stars aligning. So we set off. There were actually three families involved to start with, the Shipleys, Mike Pemberton, his partner, Eddie Fairless, and Dad and I. And we set off down the path of trying to get the building, get planning, get licensing, which was a real challenge, and turn it into something really special. But it all based around the fact that the law was changing. So there were so many unknowns. In fact, unknowns about the building, unknowns about what was exactly going to happen with the law, and unknowns about how customers would react to it. But anyway, we started off.
It was a big risk, a big gamble, you might say.
And it certainly was. But it was, in hindsight, it was hellish fun. There were plenty of times during the build, particularly when I walked out thinking, what the bloody hell am I doing? It's actually slightly more expletive than that. And then you walk out onto the street and there's like hundreds of thousands of people and you go, like, build it, get it finished, it will work, we'll find a way of making it work.
How long did it take from you and your dad getting the building to actually opening the Hippodrome as it is
7
now?
years.
Wow.
So 2005, it was actually the very tail end of 2004, actually, November 2004, we got the agreement to lease from Gascoigne, who are our landlord, and we got planning permission really very quickly because the council were desperate for it not going back to being a nightclub, so it had so many problems with it.
Yeah.
And license application, we got turned down. We didn't get the license on application. There were some very strong objections from the local casinos. And we had just trade objections, basically. and we weren't very good at our first application, I think. Second application was an appeal, and that was in 2008. We actually were waiting for a clarification of the law. Somebody else was having a similar issue. Law was clarified. It was clarified in my favor, and I took on the responsibility for doing the license application, because before it was a little bit committee-led.
Yeah.
And so I took it on, and we won the license under the appeal. In fact, the council actually gave evidence at our licensing appeal, which I think was very helpful as well, because we'd really put a lot of time into the local area, making friends, pressing the flesh, finding out what people wanted, and we ticked all the boxes, basically. Got the license in 2008, and then started work physically on site July 2009. And that was 3 years and £45 million. And that sounds quite easy when you say it quickly like that. But 2 Grade 2 listed buildings in the middle of Westminster, with interest from the police, the fire, council, Theatres Trust, Heritage, and on, all of whom had a view on it, because this is a big part of the West End. And we eventually opened in July 2012, July the 13th. So we're now in June, so nearly 14 years ago. Yeah. And loud area. Opened by Boris Johnson when he was a very good Lord Mayor of London. And it's been, the whole thing's been an interesting journey. So you can see there's so many different things coming into line to actually be in a position to take it on.
Yeah.
And the experience that I'd had was that kind of relevant to optimizing it, because there are a lot of people in the casino world that really knew how to do casinos.
Yeah.
And they liked they'd grown up, they liked the old way of doing it, which was, it's a small casino with a small bar restaurant, and you know all your customers, they're all members, and it's all controlled. And I'm coming at it from, come on in, come and have fun. And I'm going to give you brilliant products, and I'm going to give you an amazing environment, staffed with fantastic people, and hope you enjoy yourself, and you will then tell your friends, and more people will come. And when you look now, so the average casino, small, 2,000 admissions a week, small bar or restaurant, we have 32,000 customers a week, 820 people working here. We've got 10 amazing bars. We've got steakhouse, we've got Chinese restaurant, both of whom are amongst the best in London. We've got the sports book with its burger bar, best in London. We've got Magic Mike Live, just crossed 3,000 shows. There's only 30 shows in London history that have gone past 3,000 performances. And it's amazing. You've seen it. It's phenomenal.
I've seen it. It's amazing, yes.
And we've got the poker rooms. We've got all sorts of stuff going on.
You've got everything. The Hippodrome's just done beautifully, and we have arrived. So shall we go in?
Yeah,
and then more.
Come this way. So welcome to the Hippodrome.
Thank you.
The actual journey of the build was a nightmare.
Yeah, I can imagine.
It was when the fire door over there was the largest hole we had in the side, a double fire door, and everything came inside out of that. We had 400 tons of steel coming in and out of that. We had numerous challenges during the build. One of my philosophies on life is, you've got a problem, you've actually only got 3 choices: accept, change, walk away. And if 2 of them aren't viable, then just get on with the other one. If you can't walk away, you can't accept it, you've got to change it. You can't change it, you can't walk away, you've got to accept it, and so on. And when you're actually so deep into the build that walk away ceased to be an option, we had to refine it down to the 2. And I think the best way of describing the 2 is when Hannibal was asked how he'd get the elephants over the Alps, he said, I will find a way or make a way. And numerous times we use that in the company language. Okay, you've got a problem, find a way or make a way. And actually, a brilliant example, when we were doing the build, the biggest crane we could get in would lift 2 tons. And when they were digging out the basement, they found a 3-ton counterweight for some of the old theatre equipment. And we had this, what do we do with a 3-ton weight? And we've got a 2-ton crane. Do we get 2 cranes in and try to lift it up between the 2 of them, which could obviously go horribly wrong if one started falling on the other? Do we cut it into pieces and take it out? Do we, that's going to be a fire risk and hot. And then somebody said, bury it. And that was find a way. We just dug a bigger hole and pushed it in and covered over it. So sometime in the future, some archaeologists will be coming through here thinking, why is there a 3-ton weight? And it was just because it was a very expedient way of dealing with a big problem.
It's beautiful, isn't it?
It is. The architect Matcham was a genius, and he designed a really beautiful building. And as also, he designed really commercial buildings.
Yeah.
If you look at the balcony, there are no pillars.
Yeah.
So no restricted view seats, all top price seats. So he had a really good vision. The acoustics of the building, amazing. I joke about this story in the plasterwork, but I wanted people to walk in and go, wow, I was not expecting that.
And they do that, believe me.
And there's a lot of wow moments. I take people on tours all the time, and I get a vicarious pleasure when I see the building for the first time through somebody else's eyes. And they go into Paddy's and go, wow, or the secret bar and go, wow, or the rooftop and go, wow. And
I go wow every time, because every time I come, you guys have done something new. And
Yeah.
I come quite often, at least a few times a year, and every time there's something new to show me.
it's so big. We have to be constantly rebuilding, reinventing. We've got to, if something's good, but we can make it better, we'll change it. If it's better, we can make it best, we will rip it out and do it again. And it keeps it interesting for us. I've got the attention span of a gnat. But it's also interesting for the staff, because there's always something going, and the customers.
Yeah.
And everyone likes the fact when you're reinvesting and you are trying to improve things. It's a cultural style, and it's very positive.
You have such interesting leadership philosophy. I've always admired you so much as a leader. So I want to ask you a bit more about that. I've always noticed when I walk in the Hippodrome, everyone is so happy, so smiling. The staff are genuinely happy to be here. They're proud to work here. How did you build that culture?
Oh, we whip them if they don't smile. It's really very simple. No, we actually have a filter on interview. Do you smile? If you smile easily under the pressure of an interview, you're probably a cup half full person, probably a find solution person. It's kind of a mindset of people.
Yeah.
We employ people who smile. We employ people who are good, people who are curious and want to get better. And we do train people a lot. And then on top of that, we try to create an environment where it's fun to work. The shift work's tough. We're open 24/7. I've got 820 people working here, multiple different disciplines. And so it's challenging. But if you can create an environment where they're having fun themselves, and you take away some of the negatives of life and you give them the positives, even from the start, when like tips, some firms were taking a big chunk of staff tips. We didn't. It's really simple. In the same way that use the ATMs here, we don't charge you a facility fee. These are things that annoy people with very little commercial benefit. And it's the same with the staff and the customers in the building. We try to do the things where people really enjoy really well, and we take away things people hate. Our code check system, you don't get a raffle ticket which you're then worried about losing. You put in your mobile phone number and you get a text message.
Oh, that's clever.
And you don't lose your phone. And it takes a picture of you and it takes a picture of the item. So it's totally secure. Our loos, when you've been to the loo, the last door pushes. And you don't have to worry about where you grab the door handle. And just tiny little details like that you don't even notice. But they're there. But it's the same with the team. So I employ brilliant people and give them an environment where they can flourish.
Yeah. I've noticed every time I come in, you're always on the casino floor, you talk to your staff, you talk to customers. Why is that so important to you as a leader?
It's where the money is.
That's a simple answer, I understand.
Well, it's where the activity is.
Yeah.
I don't like being stuck in an office. I don't actually have an office. I share a boardroom with my chief exec, and so we can talk all the time. But I don't want to be stuck in an office. If you're walking the floor, you're always learning stuff. I was actually here, 11:30, 12 o'clock last week, and was about to go, and there's a customer who I'd seen the day before, and I hadn't had time to say hello to him. So I thought, okay, reset. Went and sat and had a chat with him. And he pointed out something that I hadn't noticed. Our slot machines are on 50p minimum stake, and we'd had some new models in, and they'd reset to £1 minimum stake. And it was a software update that had changed things. He said, why? I said, I don't know, it shouldn't be that way. And it's purely because I'd actually sat down and had a quick chat.
Yeah.
So people are really happy to talk, and I'm always learning, and I'm happy to learn from the staff, from the customers, and the only way to be there is to position yourself out there. Though having said that, we do have an ideas at hippodromecasino.com web address where the staff are invited to put any ideas, good, bad, crazy, in. And it comes to me. And if we take it up as an idea, we pay them a cash bonus. So they're incentivized to make the business better as well. So little things like that. And it's been some pretty silly ideas that we've learned from, and some fantastic ideas that are so simple, you think, why weren't we already doing it?
Yeah.
But everyone has a different viewpoint, and the only way to learn is by listening.
Well, that's good. That's a good thing you're saying. I don't think there's a lot of leaders that will admit that. So it's very nice to hear it from you. How many casino tours do you do a week?
On average.
On average.
Probably two or three a week.
That is a lot over the years.
I love show. Yeah, it is actually. But
you love the casino tour, don't you?
I do. I
love the
real
casino tour as well. I never get tired of it.
Out of seeing it fresh from somebody else's eyes. I get a kick out of it. And I love it when people go, wow. And it kind of reaffirms what we're doing and why we do it. And when you're going around and you chat to the staff and the customers, people get the feel of the style of operation. It's interesting on casino tours. Some people even now refer back to when they did the hard hat tour, when this place was a mud tip, scaffolded all the way to the ceiling, and we're clambering around on the scaffolding. And it's created a really strong memory for those people. And when you go back to memories and experiences, what do I sell here? Do I sell gambling? Do I sell food? Do I sell drink? I sell experience. I sell memories. And the building has always had that.
Yeah.
I see often people in here that go, I used to come here when it was unlike, I used to come here when it was talk of the town. I had a couple the other day on the balcony on the other side. And I said, have you been here before? He said, we got engaged 50 years ago today by that pillar.
Oh, that's beautiful.
And it's so sweet. And there's so many lovely stories.
The Hippodrome is part of people's stories.
Absolutely.
Yeah, a big part.
I'm sure you know the Mariya quote, which paraphrased is, people will not remember what you said. They won't remember what you did. They will remember how they felt about it. And the power of telling a beautiful story and creating an environment where people have an experience they feel strongly about. They will remember about it, and they also talk about it. Yeah. Marketing a place like this is a nightmare. How do you market a casino? Because everyone knows what a casino is. They think they do.
Yeah.
They know it's small. Okay, we're not. Rubbish, because most British casinos they're not rubbish, but they're very limited on their product, because when the law said you couldn't advertise, couldn't promote, couldn't have live entertainment, the correct operating model was a relatively small casino, slightly off pitch, with a small bar, small restaurant to serve the gamblers. And the world's changed. Or we've certainly changed. But if I do the cheesy traditional advertisements with people around a roulette table going, ooh, it's rubbish. It's not real, and people can see through that.
Yeah.
But for me, the best marketing possible is when people come here, have a great time, and then they tell their friends.
Yeah.
And some of the products are easier to market than others. Our steakhouse is one of the best steakhouse in London, prized 3 times. The Chinese restaurants, best Chinese restaurant in London on TripAdvisor. Archive is number 18 out of 5,000 cocktail bars in the list of cocktails. And obviously Magic Mike is a whole marketing phenomenon itself. I know these figures intimately because my daughter runs one of the social media accounts, their TikTok account. And I was with her this morning.
So it continues to be a family business. That's good.
Yeah, she started doing it at university as a summer job. She's actually doing an internship during the day and then doing Magic Mike in the evening. So bless. And she started Magic Mike Live TikTok, which I had no idea what it was. But she has built it up, and she has 3.3 million followers.
Wow.
88.8 million likes, as she told me today. And it's extraordinary.
Yeah.
And that show has been useful in the same way we're not just a casino, we're actually a wall of security. Casino level security. You get in, you're sober, you're well presented, and you're okay. And you want a lot of people like that to have the right atmosphere.
Yeah.
But then within that wall of safety, we've got brilliant products. And the Magic Mike is one of them. And it's for me has been, it wasn't an obvious decision because there was a lot of risk associated with it. Would it work as a show? The build of that theatre in there was $7 million. So would it work as a show? Was a big risk. Would it negatively change the atmosphere in the building? I've got an established energy in the building, established clientele, and I'm about to put in 3,000 predominantly younger women who will come out of that show giddy with excitement and whatever. Would they come with husbands? And the husbands go gambling or eating steak? They go to the show. That doesn't happen. Will they get busloads of women coming out of the show, go straight to the gaming floor and get in the way? That doesn't happen. What does happen is you get 3,000 people in the building who increase the energy and happiness in the building and also talk about it. So it's kind of really helped normalize the building. Magic Mike Live is part of the English language. You can say it and just about everyone knows what you mean. And the association with the Hippodrome has been very powerful for me as just normalizing the fact that we are an entertainment complex, not just casino. Each space gives us the opportunity to do something different, to do something special. And we're trying to create lots of different environments. You could do a pub crawl in this building without leaving the walls. Every bar, though, has its character and has a difference. And I'm going to take you in a second to our latest bar, which in fact not even latest bar, because the padded sportsbook. So later on to our latest but one bar, and it's our secret bar. And that's the only advertising you get for it. It's archive and myth.
Oh, I love it. Is that why it's secret?
Yeah. And when the bar is open, this is on a timer lock as well as anything else, but you touch the door in certain places and then it will unlock. But
no way.
Like that, which is really cool. People want different things. And we don't try to preach to people what they should have. We give them a lot of opportunity and let them find where they want. And sometimes people want to be in the busiest bar in the place. Other times they might want somewhere quiet.
Of course. Simon, you travel a lot. You go to Vegas, you go around casinos in Europe. Why is that important? Do you take inspiration?
Oh, I love airline food.
No, I don't believe that. Nobody does.
No, I do love traveling, but I'm very happy to see what everyone else is doing and learn. There's little bits of all sorts of different casinos in here. Marina Bay Sands and
it's amazing,
Resort World
isn't it?
Sentosa are superb. And I went to Singapore and came back and did the under the stage where all the electronic roulette are, stadium style. It's the first time I'd seen it. And it's quite a powerful thing. And you're picking up ideas everywhere. The GHD hair straighteners in the ladies' loos.
That is something I really, really appreciate. Yeah. I noticed it the first time I came to the Hippodrome so many years ago, and I noticed that it's a very good feature.
But little details like that people talk about.
It's needed in London when it's so humid.
Yeah, but details like that people talk about.
Oh, absolutely.
And so basically, I will go everywhere, I'll have a look at everything and try to learn.
You look at all those other properties, like you say, Marina Bay Sands, but you have much smaller space to work with. Like, it's such a challenge. So how did you manage to do what you're doing? Because they're so lucky with all that big space.
Or they've got to fill all that big space, and I'm lucky because I've got a smaller space.
I like that, glass half full.
Yeah, a lot of the ideas you see, it's the principle of the idea rather than necessarily the scale of it.
Yeah.
And you can take the principles. I love going to Vegas. It is the most disgusting, gaudy, extraordinary, exciting place on the planet. And every time I go, I see something. And you absorb ideas, and then it comes back in a couple of months later, and you think, oh gosh, I remember seeing that. And obviously the scale is completely different, but we can take the principle and make it work for us and do something different. First time I saw a robotic trolley in a restaurant, I'm really amazed. And it's so nice to have our own robot here, but our robot sings.
Yeah.
And he goes around the restaurant singing kind of randomly. But he's also recently been taught to sing Happy Birthday. And as an experience for people, when it's your birthday and a robot comes over and gives you a birthday cake and then sings, and he goes on and on and on. And it's funny, 'cause it's slightly camp, and it just goes on like one verse too much.
Yeah.
And it's just phenomenal.
And people will talk about it for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. It's all that talkability.
So we've moved to the rooftop terrace, which I have to say is my favorite place here. It's just
more than archive, the secret bar.
I do like the secret bar, but I've only just
Magic
discovered. Oh yeah, that was good. The secret bar, I've only just discovered, but the rooftop terrace I've known for a while. And you opened it during COVID, didn't you?
Just on the sort of favourite place. I was asked actually, we do an induction. All new staff meet me as part of the induction.
Yeah.
And so we had 2 of them yesterday, and I give the history of the building, the ethos of the company and what we're trying to achieve and that sort of stuff. And I was asked a question yesterday, which is my favourite part of the Hippodrome. And it's if I ever said it, I'd upset everybody else if I did choose that bit. And I don't have one, but I do have favourite experiences. And I love it, like when I'm joking with you there saying, well, what about this? Oh yes, what about that? And it's all experiences. And I love it when people have fun. And those moments. Anyway, you were about to ask.
So you built this terrace during COVID times, which I would imagine was a big challenge. Was that the first time in the history that you had to shut the doors, basically? How did you navigate that? Because there's no management book written on how you navigate a global pandemic.
No. Going back to when we actually did the build, after opening, the sort of basically you do the build, you're massively in debt, and you've got an amount of money in the bank, and you have got to get cash positive before you run out of money.
Yeah.
It's very simple sort of maths. And the first few months were brilliant. We were getting many more people in the building than we wanted. We were hoping for 12,000 customers a week, going up to 18,000 by the end of year 2. We got 18,000 week 4, which sounds good, but it was a nightmare because we weren't ready for it. We had 400 staff, they had no match practice. We had systems that hadn't been refined. Customers weren't spending enough money. We were hemorrhaging money and trying to find a way to get the whole thing balanced and earning money, and the customers knowing what they were doing, and the staff. And I had 6 or 7 months of sleepless nights, every single night, waking up in a ball of sweat, sort of frightened. It's very good for your waistline, you lose a lot of weight, but it's just terrified.
But you don't recommend it.
No, terrified of fear of failure, of running out of money before proving the product works.
Yeah.
And I honestly said to myself, I never, ever want to go through that. I don't like stress, I like being busy, I like them, but I never, ever want to go through that again, because it was horrible.
Yeah.
And then COVID hit, and I went straight back into that. And it was awful, because I had the memories of the previous awful, stressful period, and it was just horrendous. And it's COVID 2020, whenever it was, we're now 6 years old.
Yeah.
And I had got the place cash positive, we were making money, we were paying back our bank debts and all that sort of stuff. And everything was actually on a really nice trajectory. And then this white swan event comes out of nowhere. And we're shut. We were shut for 320 days out of the 420-day nightmare of COVID. And stage 1 was literally sleepless nights. We are going to go bust. My salary bill was £2.5 million a month. I had about 10 million of capacity in the bank, so it's fairly simple maths. So you bust in 4 months, or you're laying people off. Stage 2 was sort of take a deep breath. Let's find a way through this. And then we made people redundant. We cut costs everywhere we could. We borrowed anything we could borrow from the government, their C-bills, just because if you didn't, you would not survive.
Yeah.
You couldn't have a chance of surviving it if you didn't get through every stage of it. And then stage 3 was the more interesting one, which was we're like this. We've got really in an awful position, but how do we turn it to our advantage? How do we turn it into an opportunity? And it was a change in mindset. And it was just sort of, okay, well, we're shut. We're normally open 24/7. We're now shut 24/7. So we can actually bring forward some big infrastructure projects. We were in the building earlier. It's 30, 32 degrees out here. The building's cold because during COVID, we took it as an opportunity to completely redo all our air conditioning.
Okay.
We put big holes through the building to get more functionality. It almost gave us a reset after 6 years to say, how can we make this? But we've got an opportunity to make it better. And we put big access holes through. We took over the shop units on the front because they went bust. And that gave us the Chinese restaurant and time to build it and put the door through. And the other thing we did, because we'd geared the building around a certain number of customers, our smoking area was inadequate. It was always very busy. And so COVID was shut. So we built this area all up here. It was difficult during COVID because you had to get stuff done against all the government restrictions. But again, we found a way. And this has just been a brilliant asset. We are, again, in the middle of Leicester Square. It's heavingly busy out there. And you're in an oasis up here. And the other COVID sort of, the main, back to the sort of the philosophies of the building, which is great products, great building, and people. We spent so much time working with the staff, helping them through this dreadful time, keeping them involved. And this project was fabulous. Every week we held already a podcast, and I would be the crazy reporter with a microphone and doing selfies around here, clambering over scaffolding, showing them that we were investing in the business, showing them what the changes were. And it was really, really nice sort of community feel.
So you actually managed to turn something negative into a positive at the end of the day. And I genuinely think you guys came out of COVID stronger.
We did. We came out of better business, but it gave us an opportunity.
And you didn't give up though, and you saw the opportunity. I think that's what differentiates the great leaders like yourself.
Or stupid ones.
No, I don't think that's the case.
It was a confidence that COVID wouldn't go on forever. Yeah. And I think it finished much quicker than we were expecting. That brought its own problems because we had to re-gear up the staff. But what was lovely were the customers were gagging to come back. They were so desperate. Funny enough, on the night we were allowed to reopen, it was midnight or whatever date it was.
Okay.
We thought, let's turn this into a media stunt. And we didn't know what was going to happen because were people frightened of coming out? Were people going to be rushing to come out? But we thought, let's turn to a media stunt. And we had 2 or 3 news channels here. We had a lot of press in the building waiting for the moment when we could reopen the doors. And I went out at about 10:30 and it was drizzling. And there were a couple of sort of slightly forlorn looking people standing near the door. And I thought, oh my God, this is going to be so embarrassing if people don't turn up. And I came inside and chatted with the media. And then just before midnight, I went outside and the queue stretched from our front door to the other side of Leicester Square.
That's so beautiful.
And it was such an amazing moment.
Was it as big of a moment as when you opened the Hippodrome in 2012?
Yes, I suppose it was, because it was a reopening, it was a rebirth.
Yeah.
Though I do remember, I really wanted it to be like, the old Harrods sale, where at the doors, everyone floods in. And we open the doors, can I see your COVID pass, please? Can I see your COVID pass, please? And people trickled in. But it was,
compliance is important in this business.
Yeah, but we had to comply. But it was a great moment. And as you say, we did take the opportunity to make building better. It just gave us an opportunity to reset and tune the building for what we knew where the demand was and what customers wanted, and make a better experience for them.
Yeah. And on the topic of challenges, gaming is still considered a bit controversial in a lot of circles. You have to deal with politicians a lot, with regulators, with that stigma in the society. How do you navigate all those relationships?
Yeah, it's a real modern problem when you've got the anti-gambling lobby trying to portray gambling as a public health issue, and it's not. Cigarettes are public health. Every cigarette you have will damage you. Alcohol, on balance, probably is a public health issue. But
I discussed that with a lot of people. There's a lot more people that that have a drinking problem than gambling problem.
Yeah, massively. And when you look at gambling, it doesn't harm you. It harms a few people a lot.
Yes. Yeah.
It gives a little bit of pleasure to a lot of people. And when you look at the evidence, people who gamble actually have higher sense of happiness. And they're people who are gambling, you socialize, you have excitement, you're going out. They're all real positives. So gambling does a little bit of good to a lot of people, a lot of harm to a few people. And the public health lobby are trying to portray it as harming everybody all the time, which it doesn't. So they've got the bigger research budget than us, and we have to deal with that. But the way to demonstrate, we don't tell people, we demonstrate. And I love inviting politicians around. I love getting people in the building because it's really obvious when you see people having fun. And you should be allowed to have fun with grown-ups. Life without enjoyment is existence. And we don't want to be a society where you can't eat, you can't drink, you can't have sex, you can't drive cars, you can't shop. All these things cause harm. But you don't ban cars because somebody gets knocked over. You don't ban alcohol because somebody drinks too much. Likewise, you don't ban gambling because somebody's had a problem with it. What you do is create an environment where there are good resource if somebody does have an issue. And all our staff are trained to be aware. It doesn't happen very often. But some people do have an issue. But for the rest of the people, you create an environment where they can have a great time.
And share with their friends.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And bring their friends.
So Simon, just a couple more questions to end. Tell me, in your life or in your career, what is your best bet, figurative? What's the single biggest gamble in your life that paid off?
I have to say my wife. When you actually when you're in your late 20s and you make a commitment to be with somebody for the rest of your life, it's quite a big...
It's a gamble,
you don't really know. It's a calculated gamble because you think you know, but you don't really know what's going to happen. You also don't know what life's going to throw at you. You don't know how that's going to affect your relationship. And Fiona, my wife, is amazing. And I wake up every morning, surprised to start with.
Don't say that.
And she's gorgeous. And we make a really good couple because we complement each other well. And she tells me when I'm doing things wrong very quickly.
Yeah.
Obviously, the other biggest gamble is the commercial gamble of doing this because I sold out in 2006. I had enough money to not ever work again. But I'd have been a nightmare, bored stiff. And taking this on, again, it's a bit like the relationship thing. You don't really know what's going to happen, but you have the belief and self-confidence that you'll find a way of making it work. My relationship with Fiona is amazing and it's never really been tested, but gosh, this place tested me to the limit and quite a bit beyond at times.
I can imagine.
But it's quite nice that it's worked.
And on that note, after all these years, what still excites you about going to work every day?
I love it. I love people. I love opportunities. It's a project that will never be finished because there's always a way of making it better. There's always a way of making it more fun, improving the whatever the products we offer. And at the same time, there's always new stuff happening. The basics will never change. It is that smile. It's walking in and getting somebody who smiles at you and making people feel good.
Yeah.
But some of the products are quite fun. There's a new gaming product coming out, which I'm really excited about, partly because it reminds me of school days. There's basically a gambling game based on battleships.
Oh, I know which one you're talking about.
I was playing it in Vegas,
yes.
and we're getting it here in a couple of weeks' time.
It's a new game, yeah.
And it's fun.
There's this new thing that they've created now, arcade-style gaming.
When the first of those happened, this idea of skill-based gaming, I was a complete skeptic because I said it'll never work because you've got mixing a slot machine with Call of Duty. You've got people who like slot machines, you've got people who like Call of Duty. But you can't have a bonus round that requires you to have the skill of a Call of Duty person. The Call of Duty person won't want the hassle of playing a fruit machine to get to the bonus round. And if they're any good at the bonus round, then they will be making it harder for everybody else. So it would just never work. And the people wasted millions of pounds on it. But these arcade-style games, which is actually marrying a game with a gambling product and making it a gambling product of that version of the game is really clever.
I think so. It opens the doors to new audiences as well of gamers. Well, Simon, it's been amazing to talk to you. Thank you so much for your time. It's been such a pleasure.
It's always a pleasure chatting with you. And you've got to come back and see Magic Mike.
I will.
It gets better the second time.
Absolutely, I will. Thank you. Thank you for watching this episode of Mariya Meets with Simon Thomas. I hope you enjoyed my conversation with one of the most influential people in European gaming and London's West End. There are 2 more episodes of Mariya Meets now streaming on globalgaminginsider.com, and there will be more episodes to come later this year. If you enjoyed this episode, please share it with anyone you think might find it interesting, and make sure you follow our social channels so you never miss a future video.